Good afternoon. I realize this is not the best setup, but the focus of this video is the story, so the visuals really shouldn't matter all that much. You can see me, you can see who I am. Sorry about the last video. It just cut out. I guess my storage was full and the phone decided, well, we've had enough of this. Anyways, I ended on cycling in and out of Publix, carrying the water to the couple that was vending them, getting my split from that case and going back, getting another case, and just going back and forth and back and forth. I believe it was the 5th time. The number doesn't matter, but just to let you know, I had been doing this for a while. Went in, grabbed a case of water, went to the register, paid for it. I gave her $4.50 for a $4.49 case of water. She offered up the penny and the receipt, which I refused. Who needs a receipt? And, what's a penny when you're making dollars just fist over? We were making good money, let me just put it that way. But I walked out of the store with the case, and I had gone all the way across the parking lot. I was right at the corner where the intersection was. They were right across the street, more or less. They couldn't see me from there, but they were just right over there. Someone grabs me by my shirt. I turn around. It's a cop. He says, "I need to see the receipt for that." I said, "I don't have a receipt." He says, "I think you stole that case of water." No, I don't think he said, I don't think he said, I think. I believe he said, "You stole that case of water." Whatever he said, it was a long time ago. It really doesn't matter, but he was accusing me of stealing this case of water. So he walked me back to the store, puts me in the back room. Well, first of all, when we go in, I said, "Look, I was right at register 4. Let's just go ask her." So we walked over to register 4, and he asked her, "Did this guy just buy a case of water?" And she said, "Oh yeah, he came through and bought 2 cases of water." And he gives me a look like I was lying. She was confused. I had bought 2 cases of water before. Since then, I was buying a single case each time. So, the dirty, corrupt cop, and I firmly believe what happened was he was in that line against the wall of all the cops watching the people go through the store, nabbing people who were stupid enough to be stealing stuff in a store filled with cops. And I think he saw me go through the register, refuse the receipt, and bing! There's an easy bust. I really think he was a corrupt cop that just thought, well, he refused the receipt. I know I can arrest him. I might be wrong. I can't be certain. But he did not see me steal a case of water, so why would he pull that nonsense? We go into the back room with the case, and I said, "Look, just send an employee to that register, have him look in the garbage can, the receipt will be there." So somebody came in the back room, and he requested that that guy go over to register 4 and look in the garbage can. He comes back about, 10 or 20 minutes later. It was quite a while. And he said, "No, there's no receipt in there." I'm pretty certain he didn't even bother looking. I'm pretty certain that he was just taking the cop's side and didn't even care what happened to me. Forget the land of the free. This is not. This country is as corrupt and as shady and as willing to put anybody in jail that they possibly can as any other country. Know that right now we have more laws than probably any other country. I know this, that in raw numbers and per capita, we have more people jailed and incarcerated than any other country. We are not anywhere near the land of the free. And when you look at the experts who dig up this information in terms of our media is never at the top of the list. Our media is definitely not the most free in the world. So this is kind of going off on a tangent, but it's part and parcel of what happened to me. So he takes me eventually, throws me in a paddy wagon, and I'm the first guy in there. I don't know if the paddy wagon just got there or what, but I'm the first guy in there. And people are starting to filter in by ones and twos, and they're all talking about what they did to get arrested. So they're all saying, yeah, I stole this, yeah, I sat down and I started eating a sandwich without paying for it. You know, every single one of them had a story about why they got arrested because they were stealing something. I was the only one in there. I just kept my mouth shut and listened. I had nothing to say, you know. Telling those people, geez, I didn't even steal anything and I'm stuck in here, they would have all just given me a look like, yeah. Anyways, so it took forever for them to fill that side and then fill the other side and decide, you know, it's time, take us in. So they took us in and they booked us and all that nonsense. And of course, this is another thing. And the Supreme Court has said, yeah, you could do that. Some court systems, some police departments will automatically, if you have money on you, they will automatically fine you. Generally, I think it's like $20. I think it's more or less standard. I mean, they might all have different amounts, but I think $20 is the amount that comes up more often. But right off the bat, it doesn't matter. You're going to jail. You haven't gone to court yet. Every man in this country, per man, woman, child in this country, per the Constitution, is innocent until proven guilty. So just because you're sitting in jail doesn't mean you're guilty. All that means is you have been arrested, and they can hold you up to 3 days before they even have to charge you. And I think definitely some cities do that just as a matter of principle, that they will just arrest anybody for anything and then 2.5 days later just let them go because they didn't really do anything. The cops just didn't like them for whatever reason. But that was not the case here. But right off the bat, they took $20 from me, even though I had not been found guilty. So even if I'm still in jail and I go to court and I'm found not guilty, I'm not getting that $20 back. They're not taking that money as a fine for somebody breaking the law. They're taking that money because they are thieves. It should be illegal. The court, way before this court we have, which is just downright terrible for we the people, but the court generally sides with the state. We the people, that has not really been a thing since the beginning of this country. As a matter of fact, you watch some real historians who parse how the whole thing started. It was never we the people. It was we, the land-owning white people. That's who we the people were. But again, I'm getting sidetracked. So I'm in jail, I get my phone call. I call my family. I don't know if I called my brother specifically or my mom, but I contacted somebody and said, look, I'm here. There's no way I can fight this from jail. I've been through this before. There is no way. And not only can you not, like, I needed to get the video from the store, which was going to be nigh on impossible unless I got out. And beyond that, you will be told when you're in jail, at least certain jails will be upright with you and tell you, if you're going in front of the judge in an orange jumpsuit, you're much more likely to face a guilty verdict. It's just the way it is. They are not unbiased. Remember two things. Anybody who's been through it, they don't call it the justice system anymore. It's the legal system. Big difference. Also, everybody is human. There is no thing as no bias. It just does not exist. There is always bias. That's just the way it is. Doesn't matter if it's me, a cop, the prosecutor, the defense attorney, the judge, everyone but God. There's going to be bias. We're all human, so just remember that. It might not be fair, but you who are watching this, I guarantee you, you're biased. You've already made up a decision about what this is like, what I'm explaining right here. But anyway, so I'm in jail. I'm waiting for my family to bond me out. I talked to a public defender, and I told him, look, you get that video, and you will be able to see me paying for it. Oh yeah. This is what I was afraid of if I didn't write this down. While we were still at the store, I told the cop, look, just watch the video. And you know what he said? I don't have time for that. What do you mean you don't have time? You're getting paid no matter what you do. Just go watch the freaking video, you lazy, corrupt piece of POC. You know what C stands for. Anyways, so finally, I'm trying to think because I did. Oh yeah, I went to court, for the bond hearing. Sometimes the judge will reduce your bond. Occasionally, if you're really lucky, he will ROR you, released on own recognizance. I went to court. And the judge is like, a $5 case of water? What are you even in here for? And at that point I was thinking, great. Miami. People love their noise in this city. They call it paradise, but I'll tell you what, it's one of the most stressful cities I have ever been in. People here are not, they're loud, they're aggressive. If you have never been here, don't come here. It is not worth it. Go to Clearwater, go to, I'm trying to think, go to Marathon, go to Key West. There's a lot of other places to go to. Don't come here. Anyways, so yeah, I'm in front of the judge, hoping he will just ROR me. He doesn't. I don't remember if he did reduce my bond to 100 or it just started there, but it was 100. But right then when he said, "What are you even doing here?" Okay, if that's how you feel about it, just release me. It's a $4.49 case of water. Do you think I'm not going to show up for court for, a $4.49 case of water that I didn't steal and I'm going to have video for? Now, of course, he didn't know all that, but still, It's a $4.49 case of water. He even said, what are you doing here? Like, why did they even arrest you in the first place? They could have given me a ticket. They could have. You know, it's an arrestable offense, but it's not a mandatory arrest. The cop was just being a cruel, mean-spirited, well, I think he was corrupt. I think he knows I paid for the water. He saw me refuse the receipt and said, there's an easy bust. But anyway, so I'm sitting in jail, just waiting to see what happens. I talked to a public defender, and I told him, get the video. Get the video. You will see me pay for the water. It's as easy as that. And what they did was they talked to my family in a way that was more convincing than I could be, I guess. You know, my family, they're more willing to listen to a public defender than they are their own family member. Finally, they bond me out after 6 days. I had the public defender's number, so I was talking to him. He got the video for me. Now, I got that video. I took it to the library, and first of all, I couldn't even watch it. I can't remember. I think it was on a CD originally. I had to, I think, put a notice on Craigslist and ask somebody to put it in a format that I could use. I told him, I can't even watch this thing. You got to do something with it. I can't remember what the file extension was on that, and I can't remember what the file extension was that they reverted to, that they converted to. But I got somebody to do it, and I don't remember what I had to pay for, what, you know, the amount I had to pay to get them to do it. They were really nice about it. They didn't charge me much, and they were sympathetic to my plight. But so now I've got the video and I can watch it. This video, it's split into a grid. So they've got, I think it was 12, maybe as many as 16 frames in this video, all playing at the same time. First of all, I had to figure out which one was mine, because I didn't just pop up right away. One thing that was helpful was the cop had put the time on there. And the time he put on there, and this is very important, the time he put on that ticket was exactly the time that was on the camera, the timestamp on the camera at the bottom when I went through that register. That's important to remember because that's going to come up later. So I've got the video. It shows me clearly going through. I mean, for one thing, I had this really wild shirt on. Oh, people love this shirt. I mean, I had offers from people to buy it. It was like these cartoon horses all over and horseshoes, and it was just very colorful and very playful, and people just loved that shirt. But just given I had that shirt on, that made it really easy to identify me, because as I remember, it was all in black and white. But you could plainly see me going through. You can plainly see the cashier handing over the penny and the receipt. You can plainly see me saying, no, I don't need that, picking up the case of water and walking out the door. Cut and dried. I am not guilty. You've got the video right there with the timestamp that correlates exactly to the time the cop had written on the ticket. So I go to court, and since they were not under any circumstances going to throw me in jail again, the worst that would happen is they would find me guilty and I would pay a fine. I did not have access to a public defender. They weren't going to spend money on a public defender for somebody who's not even going to jail. You know, just have at it. So I went in there with the video. I requested I've got video. I'm going to need, a screen. So they brought a screen with the machine in, and the judge, when they called me up, the cop is there, the prosecutor is there, and the judge asked the cop to tell his side first. Well, the cop tells the judge, well, I saw him, I saw him walk through with a case of water, and he didn't even pay for it. The judge says, okay, your turn. I said, well, I've got video that shows me paying for it. We put that in there, and I had to actually educate them, because I had to learn it myself when I watched this thing, but I had to educate them on how to fast forward it. My Lord. I had to educate them on how to fast forward it and exactly what frame to watch, and it's like, there I am. Look, the water is on the conveyor. Look, I'm handing the money over to the woman. Look, she's offering me change and a receipt. Look, I'm refusing the receipt. I pick up the water and I walk out. Look, there's the timestamp. It correlates exactly with his ticket. And to briefly go over what he had said, when he was telling his side of the story, he said he walked outside and he stopped me, and he said, I pulled out of my wallet a receipt for a 24-ounce bottle of water. I absolutely did not have a receipt for a 24-ounce bottle of water, and quite frankly, I don't ever remember ever in my life buying a 24-ounce bottle of water. Now, I might have. I'm 64 years old. I bought all kinds of things over the years, but quite frankly, if I buy a bottle of water, it's going to be a small one, because generally I'm on the hoof, and a 64-ounce bottle of water. And here's the rub. Anytime I buy anything, up until that point anyways, up until then, anytime I buy anything, I don't take the receipt. I mean, unless I have to show it to a boss to get reimbursed or something like that, I never take a receipt. Or, unless it's a big ticket item that I might have to return if it doesn't work. But a bottle of water? No, I don't keep receipts for bottles of water. I mean, the guy was just lying. He was making stuff up. He's a cop. He's an officer of the court, and he was lying. I caught him 3 different times lying. So he committed perjury 3 different times. I don't remember what all 3 were, but I was ticking them off in my head, starting with the 64-ounce or 24-ounce bottle of water. Lie number 1. But, then I tell the judge what happened. I show the video, and it's still going back and forth. And I said to the judge, look, I got the video to show I did not steal the water. This prosecutor, this cop, they have all the power of the state behind them. If they wanted to prove me guilty, they could have gotten video that showed them, that I walked out of the store with a case of water and didn't pay for it. They did not do that. I'm just a private citizen. I got the video that showed me buying the water. They have done nothing, but you're relying on his word. That's wrong. I have the evidence. They do not. And the cop says, well, he must have gone in another time and stolen a case of water. And the judge says, well, I'm going to go along with the cop's word. I'm going to find you guilty unless you can prove you didn't go back in and steal a case of water. I said, Your Honor, this is the United States of America. We have a Constitution. That is not the way we do things in this country. And the judge said, nonetheless, that's my ruling. Oh, I was steaming. I was steaming. I have never been so angry at the system in my life, before or since. I stalked out of there and went right to the window where you file an appeal. I need an appeal. Give me the form, please. I was filling out the form, and these public defenders come up, and the one grabs me. He says, "Forget that. Come on, we need to go back to court." I said, "No, I'm filling out an appeal. I'm not letting this stay." And he said, "You don't need that. Come on, follow me." So we went back. Now the court is empty. Everything, all the proceedings had been processed, and the court is empty except for the judge sitting in his throne. So we go in, and the judge says, "I was wrong. You were right." Now, he never said not guilty, and I've always had qualms about that because I never looked into it to make sure that it shows I was not guilty. But the thing is, I believe originally, even when he found me guilty, it was just time served. So, guilty or not guilty, I didn't have to do anything more. But I was not guilty per the video. And those guys, those public defenders, I'm pretty sure that given what I had said, and they're watching, after I left, they went up to the judge and said, "Look, you are wrong. You need to change this. This is not going to look good if you allow this to stay." Because what he was doing, his finding, his judgment was unconstitutional. He wanted me to prove myself innocent, which I basically already did per the video. But as I said, I think that cop just saw me walk through, refuse the receipt. I didn't just walk through. I paid, refused the receipt, and when I walked out, bing, easy bust. So, anybody who wants to, my name is Matthew Tubasing. This happened in Tampa. It was Gasparilla. Would have been quite a while ago. I don't know how long they keep this stuff. It probably would have been, I'm thinking at least 10 years ago. It was really a long time ago. But if they hold on to this stuff for long enough, anybody could look it up and see. If they have that court proceeding on video that anybody can get their hands on, you will see that, as far as I can remember it, as accurately as I can remember it, that is exactly what happened. But we know this. I got the video. I took it to court. They still found me guilty. The public defenders went in there, talked to that judge. The judge realized he was out of line. And, I have found this over and again. Judges are supposed to be unbiased. They're not. They are incredibly biased. They will generally take the stand of the state over the stand of we the people. You will find this again and again. Judges are not unbiased. It is not the justice system. Remember, everybody who cycles in and out of jail, even just the once, they come out of there with this notion. It's not the justice system, it's the legal system. There's a big difference. But anyways, so I got out. I was found not guilty. Just in the aftermath, I was so upset about the whole thing, and I wanted to find out if I could sue the cop for false arrest. I went and talked to a lawyer. I had that video with me. I went and talked to a lawyer. He had a machine. We plugged it in. The machine did not work. So I couldn't show him the video from the store. I told him what had happened. And he's like, "No, there has to be more to it than that." No, there doesn't. I explained to you exactly, in detail, everything that happened. No, there has to be more. You had to have left something out. No, I didn't. I wanted to punch the guy. I mean, lawyers. He was a jerk. He was a real jerk. I stopped pursuing that right then and there. But yeah, that cop was shady. He perjured himself. He did everything he could to get the judge to render a guilty verdict, which the judge did, even after I showed the video that proved me not guilty. Well, I'm going to side with the cop. You must have gone back in and stolen a case of water, unless you could prove you didn't. Oh my God. And that was before all the nonsense that we're dealing with now in this country. Imagine what it's like for people cycling in and out of jail now that judges pretty much know they can do whatever and get away with it. I really feel for the people who are struggling in the legal system nowadays, because it was bad enough what I had to deal with. But that was 6 days in jail. It was there in Tampa, you know. It wasn't like they sent me to San Salvador or El Salvador, wherever they're sending them, you know, Guantanamo Bay. Jesus, we have gone just bonkers. They didn't send me to an alligator Alcatraz. They put me in an air-conditioned. They put me in an air-conditioned jail, which, let me tell you, even given, it's a lot better than, well, depending on what jail you go to. I've heard some real horror stories about some jails. I never want to experience that, but again, you know, it could be worse. I mean, if you look at how people have to deal with jail or prison life in other countries, oh Lord. But, you know, regardless of how comfortable relatively it was, it's stressful. And it's especially stressful if you're there and you know you didn't do anything wrong, and also you're arrested for something that even the judge at the bond hearing was wondering, why are you even in here? Well, good, let me go. Why am I in here? But there you go. If any internet detectives are watching this and you want to look that up, I can't even remember the cop's name, but I'm pretty sure, I know he was Hispanic, and I'm pretty sure he was from the old country, meaning probably he left conditions which were not ideal to come here to get a better life, and now he's taking people and throwing them in jail. I can never understand oppressed people who become cops and take that newfound power and abuse it. It just totally escapes me. Totally escapes me. Because I will fight for their right to be here, go through the process, become a citizen. I have no problem with that. But if they come here, become a citizen, become a cop, and just go haywire, that is wrong. That is dead wrong. So there you go. There you have it. I don't think I left anything out. That's all of it. Anybody wants to look this up, if the information's out there, you can dig it up. It's a matter of public record. So I want to thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you soon.